Hey guys, bad news. I played with the COVID streets. I played with the laws of the COVID streets, and now I'm doing a bid. I'm in jail. I'm in studio. No, I'm in jail. Stay at home jail. I traveled a little too far out of the COVID lines. I tried to do it for my family. Tried to do it for my friends. Literally not in studio. Stay-at-home orders is a mofo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Won't Stick to Sports. I'm Jemele Hill, and that is my new co-host. We call her Sherry. She doesn't say much, which I kind of like as someone who definitely enjoys getting my opinions off. Because watch this. Hey, Sherry, the Lakers aren't going to repeat. I actually don't like them at all. And look,
knock it off.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Knock it off.
I'm hearing some other interference.
Sherry is the more subdued version of Cari. I'm at the house and I got something to say.
This is your twin right here is Sherry. Meanwhile, my real co-host, as you see, Cari, not in studio with me. Cari, explain to the viewers what you've done. What has happened?
What had happened was there was miscommunication. Things went down. And look, dog, I gotta take this L. I got caught. And so more importantly, because I love all of you there at the studio, I wanted to make sure there was, no problems, because COVID is very serious, and we'll talk about that later on. But I just wanted to make sure that everything was good and, that kind of stuff. That didn't really explain the question. I sound like a dude who got caught cheating.
Yeah, you were like, that wasn't me.
Like,
it was somebody else.
That wasn't me.
Yep. Who you gonna believe?
Picture of me,
your
like,
lying eyes. I understand, right?
Your eyes be lying. Your girlfriends that never want to see us happy.
That's right. Don't worry about it, Cari. Now, look, you gracefully have accepted that L of not being in studio. People have been trying to give us a L over a guest that we had recently on our show. That would be Jake Paul, the YouTuber who knocked out Nate Robinson in a event we all watched. So we're going to start off previously on America's Bullshit and talking about how America is trying to make us on some bullshit that we weren't on. Roll the tape, everybody. Considering where we are right now in our racial conversation in America, was what you did to Nate Robinson racist?
That is the question of the week.
Man.
Nah, stop playing with me. Come on.
Listen, Jake, it's a sensitive time right now. We just had to witness a white man just knock a black man smooth out in front of all of America. I want people to pay attention. You see that sound that was coming out of my mouth? You see what this was? It's called a fucking joke. So everybody, this clip has gone viral, Cari. We have had to accept a lot of the blowback. We were trending for a couple of days. So just go in, dude, because this is really the most, I've been a part of a lot of controversies, as you know. This is the silliest, stupidest controversy I've ever been associated with. I will give the floor to you now.
Because it is not a controversy. I will say this. Maybe our joke didn't land because people didn't want it to land. Maybe it wasn't funny. Fine, I'll take that too. Maybe the question was silly, but it was meant to be silly and stupid. We have covered sports basically all of our professional careers. We are aware of the fact that knocking someone out is a part of the sport. Please don't be silly. However, I do want to say this. I'm really okay with them not liking the question or even our show or even us. Here's what I'm not okay with. The real reason why we're getting so much blowback. For many, many folks at home, is really about the people who ask the question, not the question. Let that marinate. Because if you are really outraged by that question, you would not be in my DMs or on Twitter saying that I should be raped, that my family should be killed, that I am a nigger with a hard ER. Because I asked a question to a YouTuber you didn't like, you guys go to the other extreme. Raped? Killed, my family should be dead, I'm a nigger? That's disgusting. And by the way, I've never in my life experienced any of that. And I know what the intention is, to make sure that we stop doing what we do, and that's speak truth to power. Well, you've empowered me even more. I will talk about racism. I will talk about inequality in America. I will point out when this system is unfair to those who don't have the mainstream rights or the rights that are perceived for them. And that does not mean you can call me a nigger, say I need to be raped, and my family should be dead. You ain't gotta like our joke. You ain't even gotta like our show, but you don't have to go that far. That's pretty disgusting.
Amen, sister. And, you know, I realize a lot of this is because I'm me and I have a reputation of being outspoken on racial issues. And people seem to think I don't have a sense of humor. And so when they see, oh, you joking about race, but, you know, you're not supposed to do that, and that's only for certain people, like you said, I mean, if the joke didn't land, we can both accept that. That's all good. But for you guys to actually watch that and think that we were being serious is just beyond dumb. You were just looking for a reason.
Let's move on, because there's more bullshit.
Because it is more bullshit. This next clip is just beyond shocking. It's coming from the American Youth Football National Championship 9U game in Florida last night. Take a look at Savannah Gators head coach Alexis Cobb.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. Whoa.
Listen, I wish that would have been my child. I'd be in jail right now. Straight up. Like, he would have caught all the hands I could possibly muster. But I'm totally disgusted by everything that I saw.
Yeah, here's the deal. You and I have covered sports for a long time, so we know coaches have a temper, and this isn't indicative of all coaches, but it's unfortunate that, one, we had to see it at this level, and two, people have to understand that oftentimes, gosh, it's just a sport, guys. Like, I mean, I don't get it, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, and that shouldn't be a part of sports, like, period. All right, Cari, file this next clip under just because you say it over and over again doesn't make it true. Here's Kelly Loeffler, who is a senator candidate in Georgia, acting like a straight-up robot during the runoff debate against Reverend Raphael Warnock.
We want to radically change our country, and their agent of change is radical liberal Raphael Warnock. Radical liberal Raphael Warnock. Radical liberal Raphael Warnock. You've just heard more lies from radical liberal Raphael Warnock.
Wait, hold on. Guys, this isn't funny, but it is funny.
It is
Jamel's
totally
racist.
funny.
Cari's a racist. Cari's a racist. Jemele's a racist. That don't make it true.
That don't
You're a
make it
racist.
true.
I'm a racist.
Right,
It don't
exactly.
make it true.
It's so true. And it's like, they feel like if they just repeat the same lie, that eventually it seeps into people's head. And you know what, to be honest, it does work sometimes, right? And so,
It does.
Yeah,
it does. Let me tell you something. What is true? Jemele, you fine and I'm fine. You look good, girl.
You know what? You know what?
I'm gonna keep saying that because it's
receive
true.
that. Keep saying that, because that is absolutely true. But be that as it may, Kelly Loeffler is actually a pretty perfect transition to our question of the week. So on Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected another Republican attempt to block Joe Biden's Pennsylvania win. Nearly 90% of Republicans in Congress are still refusing to say who won the election. So here's our question of the week. Why are Republicans still kissing Donald Trump's ass?
So, Jemele, to answer that question, we bring in someone that we know and we've worked with before and who is very unapologetic about who he is all the way around. Actor, comedian, director, I'm adding different titles, activist. Michael Rapaport, the question of the week, why are Republicans still kissing Donald Trump's ass? Help us. Why?
I think Republicans are kissing Donald Trump's ass because they rigged the election and they still fucking lost. And Donald Trump, you know, he's a fantastic projector. It's all projection because he's the one who rigged the election. He's the one that doesn't pay the taxes. He's the one that walks around and disrespects everyone. He's the one who will win at all costs, but still fucking lost. He's the cheater, the stealer. He's the guy that if we actually saw golden shower tapes of him, no one would be surprised. If we saw tapes of him and all these other people and his crony, Rudy Giuliani, we wouldn't be shocked. And a lot of these people they're in denial. But they figure out he's going to pull a rabbit out of his ass, and he ain't pulling a rabbit out of his ass. The only thing he's going to pull out of his ass is a fucking man diaper.
Well, this is starting to feel like we're in a bad relationship in America with Donald Trump.
We are.
Like, we have broken up with him, but he won't accept it. It's like he outside of our window with like night vision goggles and footies on. We like, motherfucker, move on. Like, we are trying to move on. Can you move on? You know what I'm saying?
Jemele, it is a bad relationship. It's a completely dysfunctional relationship. And the thing that is most unforgivable about the last 4 years from him, specifically him, is the divisiveness. That's the thing that is going to take the longest to fix. The divisiveness. This is not good. This is not the way things should be.
I truly agree with everything you're saying, and you're just fed up, and we're all exhausted by the obvious here. And I do want to know, do you think, honestly, can we turn things around? Will it eventually be decent? That's the most I hope for.
Do I think it's going to get better? Things have to get better. I mean, we have to get back to, but it's going to be, it's going to be a long time before things could feel normal and respectful. And I have to say, it's both sides. You know, we could sit here and talk shit about
I agree.
Trump and all that stuff. It's both sides. And I'm a part of it. I do it. I think that once we're able to start taking people at face value again, trying to, it'll help a little bit, I think. Shit, what the do I know? I don't know nothing.
Okay. And we ended with that, Jemele. Thank you so much for joining us to help us answer the question of the week. Meanwhile, coming up next, we got comedian Nick Kroll, new season of Big Mouth. He's going to talk about it, and he's also going to help me through some puberty shaming stories that I've been dealing with for a while. Jemele never had that problem. She's too cool. Cari and Jemele won't stick to sports. Back in a minute.
Welcome back to Won't Stick to Sports. Now, joining us tonight is a comedian, actor, and I think this is a wonderful qualification, a certified puberty expert. He's the co-creator and star of the Emmy-nominated series Big Mouth, which is now in season 4 and streaming on Netflix. In fact, take a look.
Anxiety mosquito.
Ow! I'm sorry, people hate it when I do that. People hate it when I do everything. But do I stop? You killed me.
Thank you, Nick Kroll, for joining us. How wonderful.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
There's a lot to love about this show because it's about, tweens and the awkward phases and that sort of thing. How do you tell children that it's not scary to be horny?
What? That's a ridiculous question, Jemele. I'm going to protest the show.
Please do.
Please answer, Nick. Please answer, Nick.
I think honestly, like when you're that age, you're struggling to figure out what's going on with your body. Things are changing, and the show really started with hormone monsters. That kids at that age, all of a sudden, you feel like there's this hormone monster that's starting to take over in your life, and there hasn't been a ton of frank conversations about that. But our feeling was to ignore it is to lie. Like we all have that. We all went through that period in our lives, and if we begin to talk about it and we begin to personify it, it gives them some vocabulary and a platform to understand what's happening to them, and perhaps even talk to their parents or people they trust about what's going on with them, and in a way to sort of help manage it.
What I'm probably most impressed by is your ability to talk about so many different things. You have transgender conversations, biracial identity conversations. Why is that something that's important for you and for your show?
Well, the show started as based on me and my best friend from childhood, Andrew Goldberg. And so it was about, we're both like Jewish kids, white suburban, cis hetero guys from Westchester County with a very specific version of what happened to us in puberty. And as we developed the show, we created this cast of characters around Nick and Andrew. But also to tell those stories, we needed to create a writer's room that had the diversity that represented the kids in front of the camera or the kids that were drawn. And it was not for optical reasons, not to be like, look at how diverse we are, but to get the specificity of those people's experiences so that when we tell those stories, we're telling the stories in a way that feels truthful to them and the viewers. We're not all white, cis, hetero, upper middle class Jewish guys, if you can believe it. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. But.
We do not. So because you are the expert, Nick Kroll, we're going to do puberty therapy with Nick Kroll. When I was in the 4th grade, I had a crush on Philip Johnson. He's watching. I had a crush on you. You know that. And we were sitting next to each other. This was the first time I learned how my body worked. I sneezed and farted at the same time. And I don't know what you call that. It doesn't happen often, but you can't control it. Because if you sneeze and fart simultaneously, you can't stop the fart. Everyone at home knows this. Don't try to act like I'm the only person who did it, right? But in 4th grade, Nick, I didn't know. He jumped up, he pointed, he was like, Mrs. Walsh, Cari farted. And everyone laughed at me. And I think this has something to do with how I'm dating and why men suck. So the question is, do men suck?
I think the technical term is a snars, and that's when you at the same time. What I have learned from doing the show, and I don't know if this speaks to what your experience with men has been, but that it might, like, does it lead to you not being able to trust men to be vulnerable in front of them, and that you can trust that they are going to be there for you, or are they going to sell you out? If you want to break that pattern, you want to find a man that you can sneeze and fart in front of, who, you know, who doesn't call you out for it.
Wait, Nick, do I sneeze and fart in front of him right away, or do I wait until we really know each other? Yeah, like, how do I just start sneezing and farting on the first date?
I mean, I think you can maybe wait to the second date. You know what I mean? Lock something in. It's a funny thing. Like I just got married, and one of the reasons I knew I had found my person was because there was this level of trust that we had developed with each other. But anyway, that would be that's my little advice. Try to find the man who you can snars in front of.
Good advice. All right, Nick, quickly, here's my puberty story. So I am suffering from post-traumatic Jerry curl disorder. So I had a Jerry curl back in the day in middle school, which was fine because that was the time to have one. You know what I'm saying?
Nick had a Jerry curl?
I had a Jerry curl.
Nick, you had a Jerry curl?
Wait, you did not have a Jerry curl.
Nick had a Jerry curl. He just said he had a Jerry curl.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
But I appreciate you trying to put me in a safe place.
I promise. I'm not trying to appropriate.
All good. We all, you know, it was Michael Jackson. He made him cool. So it's one thing to have a Jerry curl. It's another thing when you hold on to it just a year too long. And so I held on to mine a year too long. And so some of the boys in my 8th grade homeroom class, they started calling me Chucky because they said I looked like the Chucky doll. And granted, I've long left the curl behind, obviously. But how can I get over this post-traumatic Jerry curl disorder?
Wow. Well, it is, again, it's like really it really gets to the base of what we're doing on the show, both of your stories, which is like those things that happen to us in middle school become so foundational. I'm trying to think, like, did you think about lighting it on fire like Michael Jackson? Did that ever cross your mind?
No, but I did make sure to avoid candles at all costs.
Yeah,
so,
you might get a Pepsi campaign. You might get a Pepsi campaign out of the deal. But I think it is. I mean, really, like, all I'll say is, like, what, you know, we do these traumatic things happen to us at that age, in middle school, what, you know, like, or when you hit puberty and adolescence and into high school, and they really stick with us. And, like, the theme of this season is really trying to figure out how to, like, hug that person, like hug that little kid, and not reject them, not send them away, because you can never get rid of that person who you were, because that's who you became. But you figure out how to give that person a hug and tell them that they're okay, and that's going to help you become okay yourself, I think. Give that little Jemele a hug with her Jerry curl, and you might want to, you know, wash your hands afterwards, because there's probably a little extra solo on there.
Nick, I love that you are really an expert. We found out that Jemele was called Chucky. I snarsed, and it goes back to how we are dealing with life right now. And if I have to tell you, you saved my life today. Thank you.
Oh, that's literally the least I could do today, if that's all it is.
Comedian Nick Kroll, the new season, Big Mouth, on Netflix, streaming now. You got to check it out. He's really a great guy. Thank you so much for coming on Stick to Sports with Cari and Jemele.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, boys and girls, don't go anywhere. We have more of Won't Stick to Sports. Hey, Sherry, what do you think? What should we talk about next? Should we talk about this thing that happened with KFC and this Lifetime love story? Good idea? I thought so. More of Won't Stick to Sports when we come back. Welcome back to Won't Stick to Sports. My co-host Sherry has changed outfits once again, like an award show. And see, while Cari is a Lakers fan, Sherry is a Clippers fan.
I'd like to talk to Sherry, your co-host, for a moment. I love that we're having fun, that I'm on house arrest, and you guys are having so much fun in the studio with Sherry, your new co-host, wearing some sort of, I guess, Clippers paraphernalia. I have a serious question, though, for Sherry. Is Cari a racist? She's not. Okay, she's not. Great. We can move on. New topic. What's next, Jemele?
Well, I don't know if you can see this, but Sherry is actually pantless. Okay, Sherry got all her business in the streets. You know why Sherry has her business in the streets? Because Sherry is out here looking for love. And speaking of love, we need to talk about something very important that's happening in the culture. We need to enjoy this clip, Cari, because this is something that we never thought that we would see. Lifetime plus Kentucky Fried Chicken making a love story.
A Lifetime original mini movie.
I think I'm falling for the new chef. He has a secret recipe that's going to change the world.
The secret's out, Chicken Man. I'll take care of this. Who the hell are you? Harlan Sanders, the new chef.
Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders in a recipe for seduction. Presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I, for one, think it's genius that they are going about this in a very, I'm assuming this is satire, right? Like what you call it? Like,
yes, it is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
I think it's great.
It's great. This is a genius move, but I hope this proves to people once and for all, fried chicken is not just beloved by Black people. Everybody loves fried chicken. Popeyes, you have 24 hours to respond. That's all I got to say. I'm looking for the Popeyes love story. I volunteer to star into it. I volunteer to star in it, for sure.
Go!
Go, Popeyes.
Okay.
This is on you.
As we wrap that up, Jay, I gotta get this note in before we get out of here. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
All right, so guys, seriously, I am at home doing my show at home just because we want to make sure that all people are protected. I don't have COVID, but I would like to make sure that I'm being safe. And I am also taking this very seriously. We may joke and we may have fun about different people catching COVID, but it's very, very serious. I just want to send that PSA out because we want you to know that we take it seriously and we're taking all precautions. But I'm excited to be back in studio next week. Goodbye, Sherry. You out of here. Put your pants on, little girl.
All good, Cari. Can't wait to have you back in studio next week. We will be back then. You will get more of Won't Stick to Sports. And hello to our new viewers who surely watched us after all that controversy this week. So we'll see y'all next week, too. And we'll figure out some more racist questions to ask. See y'all.